Today, persuasion is an essential skill for survival. Some people go through courses and classes to master this skill, but as Robert Cialdini teaches us in his book Influence, some tools are at the palm of your hands. When faced with limited time and information, people usually resort to using generalization for decision-making. Because the human brain loves shortcuts, Cialdini suggests there are 7 principles people follow to say yes to your request illogically or strategically: reciprocity, consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. Cialdini compiled 35 years of scientific research and did a 3-year behavioral study program to prove that these principles serve as cues to make mental shortcuts and say yes automatically. The book is comprehensive enough to understand and apply in business settings and everyday settings. Aside from teaching you how to become influential and more persuasive, learning its techniques can help you defend yourself against deceit and manipulations, based on the same strategies too. Here are the top 7 lessons from Robert Cialdini's Influence. Lesson 1. Identify true intentions. One of the principles that the book teaches is reciprocity. It happens when someone gives us something or does something for us, and we feel obligated to return the favor, even if we do not want to. This is a powerful tool to have people say yes to your request later on, but it can be dangerously used as leverage against you too. For example, after an employee gives you a free taste of their new product, you may feel indebted to buy a product or two, even if you do not really like or need it, because you would feel bad for not returning the favor. Thus, it is an important skill to identify the other person's intention when making a request so that you can more easily reject it, knowing it's not a favor or request, but a persuasive strategy. Lesson 2. Attach a reason. In one study, people lining in the photocopy machine were observed. If someone tried to insert and say they only had 5 pages, only around 60% of the people would allow that person to cut in. But when the person says, "because I'm in a rush," 93% of people said yes. This means your request is more likely to be automatically complied with by attaching a reason to it. This is because humans are understanding by nature, and thus allow actions if there are justifications for it. Lesson 3. Hold others accountable. Under the principles of commitment and consistency, people are expected to abide by their past actions. If you make requests, you can hold others accountable to make them say yes to your request. The other person will feel compelled to stick to their word. If you're the one being held accountable, remember to identify the true intentions of other people to avoid being manipulated. Lesson 4. Present social proof. People tend to go with the flow when they do not know what to do or cannot decide for themselves. To present yourself as a reliable and trusted person, you should show testimonials, reviews, and ratings. They serve as social proof that helps persuade people to copy other people into following and trusting you. On the other hand, if you're being presented with social proof, you should find other proof and evidence to ensure you do not fall victim to mere marketing strategies or fake social proof. Lesson 5. Know what people like. Under the principle of liking, Cialdini suggests that people often prefer to say yes to people they like or agree with. Among the factors contributing to likeness are physical attractiveness, similarity, compliments, familiarity or closeness, cooperation, conditioning, and association. Responding to what other people like is also part of the halo effect, where people tend to cast a halo over their perception of that person, if a person has a positive trait. You can use this knowledge to be more likable to people, even those you already know, to influence them and have them fulfill your request. After all, it's harder to say no to a longtime friend you like than to a stranger. Lesson 6. Determine authority. Just as children obey their parents because of their authority, people tend to follow people in positions of authority, such as experts, leaders, or officials. People believe they can trust information and matters to experts because they're more knowledgeable, and there are consequences in disobeying them. For example, in one study, a researcher phoned 22 nurses in a hospital, claimed to be a doctor, and instructed them to give a patient some medicine. 95% of the nurses automatically followed the directions, without needing to confirm if the person who called was really a doctor or not. The study goes to show the power of having a professional title. If you're the one being asked to follow a person with authority, make sure to check if they genuinely have that position by confirming their identity or credentials to avoid yourself from being defrauded. Lesson 7. Avoid panic buying. According to Cialdini, under the scarcity principle of influence, opportunities seem more valuable to us when their availability is limited. People are usually motivated to act because the fear of losing something is greater than the idea of gaining something. This principle is why you'll be more tempted to buy something rarely on sale or something that only has a few stocks left. To avoid easily buying into temptation, make sure you've discerned deliberately whether you want or need the item and if the seller is not manipulating the stocks to get you to buy it. In conclusion, to make people say yes, you need to understand why they say yes. Through many studies and everyday examples, Cialdini teaches you exactly that in Influence. Understanding why people illogically say yes to requests can help you become more persuasive in influencing them. You can easily do that by attaching reasons to your request, reminding accountability, presenting social proof, knowing what people like, and determining authority. Convincing people using these strategies gives you the advantage of having your request fulfilled. Aside from that, you can avoid being fooled by identifying the true intentions of the requester. Sift through social and scientific evidence, be critical of what or who you like, and be discerning in your purchase decisions. Thank you for listening. If you like the book summary and you want to see more in this category, please like and subscribe so I can create more. You can also get a free copy of the entire audiobook by clicking the link in the description. Until next time.